Hey folks, how's it going? This is Seagull here, back with another My Sims 4 wishlist video. So this is the one that I do at the end of every year. That's a special episode where I recap the present year and talk about what I want to see most with the next year. So yeah, let's start off with how 2018 went. And I was pretty surprised by it. I wasn't really expecting it to be as good as 2017 was, but I think overall, 2018 actually topped 2017, so best year of The Sims 4 so far, once again. So let's recap the highlights of 2018, and it started on a pretty interesting note, as the very first pack that we got for 2018 was Laundry Day stuff, the community voted stuff pack that ended up going through several things that we were all deciding on, like the title, the gameplay items, the clothes, the build mode items, and all of that stuff. And, well, I was thinking, oh great, I really wanted off the grid, and even though I wanted laundry, I was thinking, well, I don't know if it's gonna be all that interesting of a stuff pack, but I was very surprised by this, and Laundry Day stuff ended up becoming one of my favorite stuff packs ever. Not to mention, it came out around my birthday, so not a bad deal. February also proved to be an interesting month, as that was the celebration of the 18th anniversary of the Sims franchise, and we got a free game update, which added a new t-shirt, a new curly hairstyle, and some controversial darker skin tones. They tried to add these in an attempt to diversify the game a bit more, but there were some issues because there's some really strange red blotches, and pretty much all of the new skin tones looked a bit too ashy for most people's liking, so yeah, it was a little bit of a bust. They did kind of fix the skin tones a month or two later, but yeah, there was definitely some backlash against this, though it was definitely not the worst thing that happened this year. We'll get to that pretty shortly. But something else pretty cool happened in February, and that was the Jungle Adventure Game Pack. Finally, we got another vacation world after years of just having Granite Falls awkwardly being alone in that Destination World select screen. And, well, I think the reception on this is pretty mixed nowadays, but I think the general consensus is that this is an improvement over Outdoor Retreat, and I agree with that, and I still like Jungle Adventure quite a bit. It wasn't the tropical vacation pack that I was hoping for, but still, I'm glad we got another vacation world. I had a feeling that we were going to get another one this year, and even though the jungle was different, I like that it was a little bit different than what I was expecting, because we haven't really had a dense jungle setting like this in The Sims on PC, so yeah, I'm really glad that we got something a little bit more unique, and even though I don't visit Selva Dorada every single time I play The Sims 4, I still think this is overall a pretty good addition to the game. And then as we headed to March, things got a little weird. First, we got this Final Fantasy collab where we got this special outfit. I was definitely not expecting a Final Fantasy crossover with The Sims, but at least it is a video game and not a celebrity that this was a crossover with. But then, as a huge surprise, it was not even in the quarterly teaser, My First Pet stuff ended up becoming a thing. Yep, you've probably heard all about this stuff hack already, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but yep, a DLC for a DLC, and it was trashed by pretty much everybody, and in my opinion, for good reason. And we haven't had a stuff pack ever since, so it might even be up for debate as to whether we'll even get another stuff pack ever again in The Sims, but time will tell, I suppose. And then for the next couple of months, things got pretty quiet. The insane trait was changed to erratic, and we did get some separated jungle adventure items, but other than that, it was just like, what's going on? And rumors started flying around that The Sims is dying. Well, thankfully we're still here, so that didn't end up being true, but yeah, then things suddenly kicked up again when they released a teaser for something, but it had a scarecrow in it. And, well, that turned out to be the long-awaited Seasons expansion pack. And then suddenly all the silence made sense, as they do tend to go quiet a little bit before the announcement of a new expansion pack. And the announcement of Seasons surprised me in a couple of different ways, because it was like, yes, we didn't have to wait even longer for Seasons, we didn't have to wait for like more filler expansion packs or something before this, but also that we were already getting this expansion pack in June instead of November, because the past couple of years, we've gotten an expansion pack just once a year, and it was in the fall, and we were already getting Seasons during the summer, so that made me think, maybe, just maybe, we'll get 2 expansion packs a year again, and we'll get to that later, of course, but Seasons ended up, even with the lack of Deep Snow, my favorite expansion pack for The Sims 4 by far. This just changed the game for me in a way that was much needed. The game doesn't feel as stale anymore with this expansion pack installed, and yeah, I just love it. This definitely feels like an expansion pack for The Sims 4, pretty much done right, even though it wasn't perfect still. And in the My Sims 4 wishlist video that I did at the end of last year, Seasons was the thing that I wanted most, so really glad that ended up coming true. And of course, I gotta mention the update that came out alongside Seasons, as not only did it break the game, but it also brought in a huge overhaul to the gardening system, and it also added glass roofs. Yes, something new for build mode. I feel like we just don't get new additions for build mode often enough, and yeah, I'm really glad that we have them. It definitely make our buildings look a lot nicer. Then for the rest of the summer, things got fairly quiet again, though not as quiet as the period between My First Pet Stuff and Seasons, because we still got a couple of free updates. One that was a gallery overhaul that ended up being a bit controversial, but I think was still needed. I was getting tired of how the gallery has looked. It stayed pretty much the same ever since 2014 when The Sims 4 first came out. And yeah, we also got a Caribbean-themed update that came with some new hairstyles, some new objects, as well as sliding doors and an animated ceiling fan. So overall, I think that was a pretty decent update. Then September was pretty quiet, and then we got the answer to my question, will we get 2 expansion packs this year? And yes, and Get Famous ended up being that. I was pretty surprised by this too, because I think just about everyone, including myself, was expecting University to be next, even though there wasn't any hard evidence out there or leaks, but it was just like, it was such a popular request, and we got Cats and Dogs and then Seasons, so University was just gonna be next, right? Nope. We got the Celebrity expansion pack. I wasn't expecting that until next year. And, well, my first impressions of it weren't so good, because honestly, I don't think the trailer really did the expansion pack justice at all. This looked like a game pack that they were selling for $40. But once I got to actually play it, I realized, okay, there's more going on here, and it actually integrates pretty nicely with the base game, especially since there's more ways to get famous than just sleeping with a celebrity or participating in a specific career, even though the acting career does help a lot with gaining fame. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised by Get Famous, just like I was with Laundry Day stuff earlier in the year, because right now, Get Famous is my 3rd favorite expansion pack for The Sims 4. And of course, I've got to mention the game updates that came out alongside Get Famous, because I think this is the biggest free update that we've received for The Sims 4 so far. Yes, even bigger than Toddlers, because not only did we get terrain manipulation, which was another one of those things that I was really losing hope for ever coming to The Sims 4, we also got a new career, the Style Influencer, and we also got a new twist on the self-employment feature from The Sims 3, where we can basically just sign up with the Ministry of Labor and just name our own career, so that our Sims who are not really in conventional careers will not be tagged as unemployed by the game. We also had a new limited time challenge featuring Millie Bobby Brown that offered a new reward trait, and of course my favorite new thing, first-person camera. And then to end off the year, we got another free holiday-themed update. So we got a bunch of Create a Sim items and some objects as well, including the Lindsay smart speaker. So yeah, that was definitely not an object that I was expecting to see, but pretty glad that it did, since it is just like another one of those things where it's like, okay, it's bringing The Sims a bit closer to the modern day world. It did suck that it came with the pretty game-breaking bug, but that's been fixed pretty quickly, just before everyone left for the holidays, so that was nice. I also gotta mention the console version of the game, because it's been catching up to the PC releases pretty quickly, especially with said PC releases being a bit slower this year. There isn't too much left to re-release on PS4 and Xbox One, so hopefully the quicker pace will continue into 2019. And now it's time to talk about the top 6 things that I want to see most in 2019, because once again, I could not limit it to just 5. So if you've been following my content for a while, it won't surprise you in the least that my most wanted thing is cars. Yep, I mean, I've talked about this so much in the past. Yes, there's plenty of reason for cars to come back, even with there not being an open world, and even though we can travel by hitting the M key or tapping the cell phone, but yeah, I think cars can serve a lot of storytelling purposes, especially if we were able to fix up certain cars and maybe even run a car dealership and wash the car and do a whole bunch of other things. That's more to cars than just going from point A to point B. I've gone more in depth with other ideas that I'd want to see with cars in The Sims 4, but one other thing that I don't mention that I do mean to lump in with my request for cars is that I want to see the carpools and school buses return too, because I think that would add more realism to the game. Of course, the carpools would only appear in the neighborhoods that actually have roads, since there are some that don't, but also, I think with carpools, I think it'd be really neat if, say, your sim is working the same shift in the business career as some other sims that you have living about in your worlds. Then they could actually show up in the carpool instead of it just being some random NPC every single time. I think that would really help also get the point across that carpooling would also reduce on pollution and that sort of thing, and I do really want eco-friendly stuff. It's not like a major asking point that I'm gonna mention as part of this top 6, but yeah, definitely something I want to see more of in The Sims 4. My second most wanted thing is basically divided into 2 parts, because I want there to be 2 expansion packs again in 2019, though in my predictions video I did say that I think there will realistically only be 1, but still, ideally, I'd like for there to be 2 again. And I would like to see one come out in the summer, and that one would be focused on farming. That was something I also mentioned in last year's video. I think farming would add so much to the game. Yeah, sure, not every single family would be farming, but the ones that do would be really fun to play as. It'd just be a really fun change of pace, and we could have more cute animals in the game as well to look after. I think it would be a really good time, and I think if that doesn't come out, I wouldn't mind if we got a tropical island world, but I also think that's not coming until 2020 or maybe even later. So yeah, I mean, I do want it. I really want my Sims to swim in the ocean, but I don't know. I'm really on the fence as to whether we'll actually get any of that in 2019. If any of that, at least swimming in the ocean. Even if we don't get a tropical beach, at least, yeah, can we get the swimming ahead of that? But what about the expansion pack that I want to see in the fall? Well, it would be nothing other than University. Yep, I really hope that if I'm correct about anything coming in 2019, that it will be that University is coming. At least as a game pack, but I'm thinking it'll probably be an expansion pack, which I wouldn't mind either. And yeah, I'm kind of worried about the state of the Sims community if University does not end up coming in 2019. So yeah, it better be happening. hopefully it does end up just being a case where my expectations versus reality were just flipped around, because I was thinking, yeah, we were totally gonna get University as the fall expansion pack after Seasons came out, and then the Celebrity expansion pack would come out in 2019, but nope, we already got the Celebrity expansion pack the fall of this year. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if I'm right about that. The next thing that I want to see most are stairs. Mainly spiral stairs, that's the new stair type I want to see most, but just at least any kind of new stairs. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe we're still stuck with the same stairs for 4 years. Like, what the heck? I really hope that 2019 is the year that we finally get some more stair types, at least one. And I do think that adding stair types alongside a university pack would be a pretty good idea, since with university dorms you want to save some space, so naturally having some stairs that take up less space would be a really good addition. Also, bunk beds, sleeping bags, and sofa beds. Can we please get those? I think those would also be really good matches for a university theme. The next thing that I really want to see in 2019 that I don't really see a lot of people talking about these days is create a world. I know that does seem like that's a huge ask, but it does seem like at this point it might actually be happening. It just might take a really long time. Maybe I'm a bit too optimistic to hope that it will come in 2019, but yeah, there were some tweets from SimGuru Grant where he was saying that they are kind of like trying to figure out what they could do with Create a World. So yeah, even though it has been a very long time for Create a World to become a thing, because I think this is something that should have come out maybe like a year or two after the base game launched, but better late than never, I suppose. And another thing that has made me think about Create a World again is that, well, I'm gonna be honest, even though I really love Brindleton Bay, it's my favorite world in The Sims 4, I think it was a little on the small side. And then Del Sol Valley came along with Get Famous, and then it was even smaller. And I feel like because of the shortcomings with these two recent worlds, if we could have some user-created worlds, then that would not sting as much, because it's like, oh, well, hey, at least we can download some more worlds for free by our fellow Simmers. And what I really like about the ability to create our own custom worlds as well is that we're a little bit less restricted than what Maxis does when they put out a new world, because they always put out a new world, except for Newcrest, since that was like a free empty world. But other than that, they always release these worlds alongside a game pack and an expansion pack, and they can only use the base game and that new pack, because then they would be limiting the sales of said pack if they just willy-nilly used whatever they wanted from any of the previously released DLC, because then people would have to go out and buy all the other packs, which they might not be able to afford, and then, yeah, it's just not as much money for EA, and it's just annoying, really. But with custom worlds released by us, one could upload, for example, a mid-century themed world that uses content from both Get Famous and Bowling Night stuff. It's just like how right now Maxis has the same restrictions with lots included in new packs, but we don't. The next thing that I want to see most are witches. Yes, I know, not everybody loves occults in The Sims, but I'm one of those people who do. Witches have had a long history with the Sims franchise, and I do see a lot of requests for them, and hopefully they are the next ones to be brought back. We didn't really get any full-on occults like we did with vampires a couple of years ago, so I really hope witches are next in line. I'm not saying every single occult should have their own game pack, because I don't think that's necessary. Like mermaids, for example, I don't think we need a game pack that's entirely centered around mermaids. I think they should be put in alongside a tropical island expansion pack that also includes hotels and scuba diving and a whole bunch of other stuff. But witches, I think, could be a really awesome game pack. There's a lot that I think could be done with them. Maybe there could even be like a Hogwarts sort of place where you can learn magic instead of just learning it on your own. I don't know, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that they could do. And I just really love playing as witches. I love making magic. I didn't actually play with witches too much in The Sims 2 since I didn't really get into apartment life at the time that it came out, but I also really love playing as witches in The Sims 3. I think the only occult that I use more often were aliens. Plus, we haven't had a new occult that rivals vampires in terms of detail, and vampires came out in January 2017, so it will have been almost 2 years since then, so I think it's time that us occult fans get something else. And the last thing that I want to see happen in 2019 is the retirement of stuff packs. If they just sweep them under the rug, they just never acknowledge them, never release another one ever again, okay, that's fine, but preferably I'd rather them put out an official statement where they're like, okay, we've heard your feedback, the general reception of stuff packs hasn't been too good, My First Pet stuff, we apologize for that was a mistake on our part, we did not realize that there would be so much backlash against it, and as a result, we're not going to do stuff packs anymore for the foreseeable future, which would basically mean stuff packs never again, not even in The Sims 5 or The Sims 6, just never again. And in exchange, we would be getting more game packs and expansion packs, so yay! Sure, that would mean new content being released less often, but at least the content that we're getting would always be more substantial. And, I mean, to be honest, I know stuff packs are not limited to My First Pet stuff in terms of bad reception. Like, ever since The Sims 3, stuff packs have really had a bad reputation, and then just packs like Katy Perry Sweet Treats and My First Pet stuff made it even worse. So yeah, I would really prefer, even though it would be nice to see some of the scrapped themes from the stuff pack vote to be brought back, I would still be fine with stuff packs just never being a thing ever again. And yes, I know this is EA we're talking about, so this might even be the most unrealistic wish in this whole video. I even predicted that we're going to get stuff packs again in 2019, so yeah, this is why my predictions video is a separate video entirely, because my wants and my predictions are not the same thing. Alright, there we go, there's my recap of The Sims 4 in 2018, as well as what I want to see in 2019. Of course, there's still so much stuff that I'd like to see in The Sims 4 besides what I mentioned in this top 6, but that's why my Sims 4 wishlist is a whole series on my channel. I can't believe this is the 30th episode, but I'm really glad so many of you like these videos, and I'll be sure to do more of them in 2019, and hopefully we have a good year ahead of us. I don't think it'll be as good as 2018, but I think it will bring some interesting stuff to the table regardless. And feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to see the most in 2019. And be sure to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe, because it lets me know that you like my channel, my videos, and helps you keep up to date more easily with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're all having a happy new year.